We're not talking about that.
Hey, welcome back to the channel, Abels Treasures, where this channel is dedicated to shopping at garage sales, thrift stores, to be able to take those items, flip them, and sell them on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari for a profit.
We interrupt this program to let you know that everything he said is correct. We're still focusing on reselling, but we're going to take a little pivot. Now that pivot is we want to focus on the small business aspect of it, as well as expand to talk to other small business owners. Well, what better way to start that series is to talk to Abels Treasures. So I brought my clone on.
How'd you come up with Abels Treasures?
I was looking for some way to brand and something that meant something to me. And of course, my first name, and then everything that I'm finding is definitely a treasure, but it goes deeper into that. The treasures or the brand that I'm trying to create is the connections between myself and the people in the YouTube world. You know, there's a huge community that I didn't even realize was out there. Treasure is not only the things that I find, but the connections that I'm making with all these other resellers through Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, so speaking of that, who are some of the individuals that you've been able to make contact with? And how did you make contact with them?
Making contact is really networking, and I love networking, but this is a different kind of networking. I enjoy face-to-face conversations, shaking your hand, really getting to know you. Networking online is truly that. You're commenting on somebody's YouTube channel if something struck a chord with you, or you're celebrating their successes through Instagram when someone's posting something, or when you agree with something, and that's kind of how you make the connection. Then finally, you send direct messages to them asking questions. I'm always asking questions, just having those conversations, and I'm hoping, even though I'm asking questions, I'm hoping I'm adding value somewhere to them.
Good. Do you find them being friendly, the majority of them?
Actually, yes. Now, there's different avenues to that, because Twitter, not a lot of activity. I'm still working on Twitter. Instagram is great. There's a lot of different people that I follow that are really interactive with each other, having conversations. Actually, there was a live when I first started this. I went ahead and went into a live, and they were just talking, her and her husband, and they asked, "Who are you?" And so I gave them a little bit of information of who I am. And since then, we've struck up a friendship, and it's great. She's asked me questions. I've asked her questions. Having those connections are good.
So with that in mind, let's talk about something even a little more fun for me anyway. So I look at your logo here, and it looks like there's a cartoon of you opening up a treasure box, right? Could have given yourself some more hair in that picture. Why didn't you?
Because I sent the guy asked for a picture, and I sent that. Apparently, I got a haircut the day before. I've had this haircut since probably when I was 16, so I haven't changed my hair since then. And I enjoy it.
So if you had your haircut since 16, what did you have prior to this?
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
All right, so since Abel's not willing to talk about it, it was more of a mullet type haircut. So in high school, he played a little bit of football, and he'd bounce around the field with his hair bouncing outside of his helmet. So for those of you that can kind of imagine that and put a little bit of hair on this guy, you can see that bouncing around. So anyway, thought I'd share that with your internet friends there, Abel, a little bit. So you can thank me later for that.
I'm really glad I can edit this out if I choose to. We'll see how I feel that day.
Abel, let's get into the business a little bit. You talked here about Abel's Treasures, the brand, the people that you've been able to network with. But do you actually consider yourself a small business?
That's a very good question. If anybody has watched my short, it's the imposter syndrome. Am I really a small business, what I'm doing? And the answer after a lot of thought is heck yeah. We all have our small businesses as resellers, and we need to treat them that way. And by treating it that way, you need to make sure you're taking care of your numbers. You understand what your numbers are. Continue to take risk, but calculated risk. And a business is something where you're taking the risk, but doing your best to earn an income. One of my goals is to be full-time in June of next year. So to be able to do that, it's no longer a hobby. A hobby is something where you only spend a couple of hours a week. That's not the case. Spend all my time when I'm awake and not working my primary job, working on this, as well as YouTube, because I do like connecting with people. So yes, The long answer is yes, it is. I consider it a small business, and I'm setting the foundation over the last couple of months. And we can talk more about that if you'd like. But I'm setting the foundation over the last couple of months to have a true small business that will grow in the coming years.
Yeah, good. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on here with a few questions. But one of the things I'm curious, as you start a small business, you usually need support. Do you feel like you get the support from family and friends? And what are some of the things maybe they don't support you on? So it's a little harder question there, right here in front of everybody.
Yeah, including that I'm talking to you. So the answer to that is yes and no. So I'll give the negative answer first with no. When I make purchases, and you could talk to this, when I make purchases, you're like, why did you buy that? Why did you take that much risk? Including when I send you a message or send you or call you and say, oops, I did it again, spending $200 here, $100 here. And I know you're concerned. You're like, if you're spending the money, are you really going to get it back? So I appreciate that, but you have to take that risk. So I see it in your face, and I see it in others people's face that they don't believe 100%. I'm not saying zero, but they don't believe 100%, family and friends, that this can happen.
So a little bit of that Britney Spears syndrome, right? Oops, I did it again. Those things going on. So how do you fight through that?
Reevaluate. Number one, I can't worry about what other people think about me. I need to make my own decisions, my own risk, but they have to be calculated. Again, I appreciate what people are doing for me, and it's a lot, and we'll get into the positive side in a minute. But at the end of the day, it is my business, and to be able to do my business, I have to make my own decisions, and not everybody's going to agree with those.
Yep, I'm taking those
For example, setting the goal of 2022 of June, talking to some people, they don't think I should do that, which gives me more drive to be able to prove them wrong in a way, but not necessarily in a negative way, but to just be able to show them, as well as my daughter and my son, hey, this can be done. You don't have to work a 9-to-5 job. There are opportunities out there if you look for them.
Good.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm looking for them.
Good. So those that are watching, if you have any ideas for able to kind of fight through that when it is family and friends, put them in the comments. We'd love to be able to read those. And of course, I'll be the negative guy for Abel there and tell him why he can't do it. But he fights through that too. But now talk about the positive side of that. What type of support are you getting?
I get tons of support. One of the reasons I started this business is because of my uncle. Many years ago, he wanted people to do eBay because he saw the opportunity there. You could actually go back to one of my videos, Who Won versus an OG, and he's the original one, to where he's been doing it for many years, and he's been able to teach me. I'm still learning from him, still asking him questions. But not only that, we've been able to push each other this year and continue to compete with listings. So the people out there, I recommend you finding an accountability partner and compete with them if you're a competitive person. That'll help you move your business into the next level. And I think that's why I'm learning so much over the last year, is being able to bounce ideas off of him, but also be competitive. When I say competitive, when he gets a win, I celebrate that. But at the same time, we're going to have some fun, and we talk a little bit of crap amongst each other. But at the end of the day, we still love each other, and we're still going to push each other going.
Good.
So that's number one. And I could spend all day on the amount of support that I get. Number two, another opportunity, I purchased a bulk amount of shirts, about 180 of them. And honestly, I had to sort them. I had to count them. That's going to take a long time. A friend, I was able to take the boxes over there, and they helped me sort them. They helped me count them, categorize, and then you came and helped me list them. So now they're just going every once in a while, and it's just a staple in my store, and it's nice to have one of those. And I think everybody needs that kind of item that will regularly just go maybe 2 a week, 1 a week, as you continue to build up your store.
Yeah. Good. So we need to find some more of those shirts then, is what you're telling me, so that way we can get them out there.
Well, I want to go that far. And actually, I'm glad you said that, because speaking of support, and this is something that was a shocker to me at the beginning, but makes perfect sense now, with the community of resellers, we really take care of each other. And I'm lucky enough to be in a storage unit where there's another reseller in there. And he has been another person I've been able to bounce ideas off of. He's actually given me an item to sell, and on that, I kind of been able to, I still don't think I've given to him as much as he's given to me, but I've been able to connect him, and he was able to get a bunch of those shirts, and I hope he makes a good profit off of them.
Good. Good.
But he's helped me a lot as well. I mean, we'd be here all day if I listed all the amount of conversations we've had.
Good. So family, friends, contacts, all those individuals really help this small business. And really, we could see that, can't we, as you continue to move forward. But now with that, talking about moving forward, it has to be something motivating you and pushing you. So what pushes you to continue to move in this direction that you're going?
Multiple things. The first one is, if somebody's telling me I can't do it, the first thing is, okay, how can I get that done? That's a negative way to think. So that can only kind of jumpstart, put a fire under your butt to get it done, but that won't sustain you. So the one thing, and I've already mentioned this, is my kids. To be able to show them there's opportunities out there, that's not just the normal. I know on the internet, the big YouTubers, or even some of the smaller ones, they hear comments, they see comments of, go get a real job. Why? What is truly a real job? A job is to make money, and this is an opportunity to make a living and have the flexibility to do what you'd like as long as you grind and make it happen.
Good. Anything else that motivates you?
The bottom line, someone asked me what my values were and my legacy, and that's what motivates me, is to leave a legacy of being able to help others. Well, to have this business, I'm not going to be able to get more time because I have a small business, right? But I'm going to have the flexibility of being able to give, to be able to reach out to people and help them in different ways. And you probably won't see that here.
Yeah. So with that in mind, though, and again, putting you on the spot right here in front of everybody, what ways have you helped some individuals already?
Great question. Normally, this is not something I know. Can you tell I'm struggling with it? This is not something I advertise. And I actually respect the people that do go out there and say, hey, this is what I've done to motivate others. That's definitely good because it gets other people moving and helping. I normally try to go behind the scenes, help without somebody knowing. So the opportunities that my business has given me was, and I even said, I have a superpower. I saw on Facebook where somebody noted that they needed a walker, the one with the seat in it. And I actually saw one 2 days before at a thrift store. So I sent them a direct message and let them know, hey, do you need this? And she's like, well, I don't have the funds right now. It's like, don't worry about it. Just let me know if this is something that will be useful to you. And I had the opportunity of picking it up because us resellers know where to find the deals. And I've been honing that. I've been finding more deals because we're looking for it. So that's one. And I believe she was thankful. So thank God that I had the opportunity to see that and get that to her. There was other opportunities. Again, I don't like talking about it that much, but other opportunities where funds were sent to churches that helped other people in need, and I got the feedback that the money was needed right at that exact time. So good. Yeah, so for those I know, again, Abel is actually humble, and I knew he didn't want to answer that question, so I caught him off guard there a little bit. But he has helped many, many people that I've heard of, and he's even whispered it to other people so I don't hear.
So we appreciate, Abel, that, the things that you're doing there as you continue to move forward. And that is one of the things that motivates you. But now let's take it away from making you try to cry a little bit there. And
I knew that's what you're trying to do.
Let's get a little bit more fun here. So when I say fun, this is kind of a fun question for Abel. Maybe not for the listeners, because he likes processes. What are we doing? How are you doing it? Those type of things. So the question for you is, what is your process to be able to get your items and then get them out there on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari?
Well, number one, we're learning every day. So keep an open mind. So the process can always change little by little. As you look back, you'll notice how far you've gone. But my process, there's multiple processes. So to keep it short and sweet for all the resellers that already know how to do it, make sure you use the eBay app to find the values, and not just what's active, but look at the solds to see what that true value is and how many there are out there, what that turnover rate is compared to what's active and what's sold over the last 90 days. Once you make the purchase, before you make the purchase, look it over as much as you can. There's still some that slip through, but my uncle's kind of ingrained in my head, check the zipper, see if there's holes, he said it multiple times, check if there's pit stains, discussing things like that. But, you need to make sure you check it out. So that's the first thing. You have a mental process. And once you purchase those items, then what needs cleaned, what can be listed right away. Make sure you kind of understand that so you can divide them up. Get the ones that listed right away. I try to get those listed. And when I list, I do the things in bulk. So create a bunch of drafts, take a bunch of pictures, and then start getting them out with a minimum of 5 a day for me. And I've done some tests to where I've done 5, I've done 15, and you can tell the amount of views that increase. So I know some people say the algorithm is a story. But I think that definitely is there to where the consistency is key. Working with the team that's continuing to help me push forward. The other thing is document your processes. And I'm in the process of documenting that with an Excel spreadsheet, and then also documenting my goals. So how many views do I want to see in a weekly basis, and how much do I want to increase that? Writing down those goals are going to help me get there. So again, I'm in the process of that, and I'll continue to work that out with the goal of having all of that completed by the end of the year.
Good. So you got the process down in your mind. Got to get it on paper though, right? So that when something happens to you, I can take over and really take off with it, right? And you've done all the hard work.
Yes. Or if I ever pass away, you can just open the doors and have big garage sale.
Yeah. Plan B sounds good. So good. So you got the process going. Now I'm going to start with some rapid fire questions. All right. So I don't want to hear all this long story on these questions. Are you ready for a few of them?
Yes.
Okay. What's your craziest garage sale story?
Now I'm under pressure. Craziest garage sale story. Personal pick was awesome. Oh yeah. Rapid fire. I walked in at the garage sale and was like, wow, connections is everything. Being transparent. And they called me back a few days later, and we were able to get some great items. Look at the vintage haul video, and I'll link that down below.
Good. So there's one. What's the best item that you found?
There's a lot of them. If money-wise, it would be the Omnicord. Purchased that for about $40 and sold it for $500 and some.
Right.
For me, when I say treasure, though, there's some meaning behind it. So again, the vintage one was really a connection to me just because, again, my uncle and I, he's like, I already know what those are, but I was also able to research history on some of those dolls. And so that's a treasure to me. And so that's some of those best ones.
Good. What's most annoying about this process?
Most annoying about the process? Returns. And that's out of our control. But I've been in customer service since I was pretty much been 16. So I was born and raised pretty much to do this, making sure you respond appropriately. Customers almost always right. There is a place where you have to cut that off, though.
Good. How much have I helped you during this process?
Really? Actually, you've helped me out a lot. Yeah, that one set me up too, because I don't like giving you compliments. But I couldn't do this without you. I mean, I've gone so far. I've moved twice within the storage unit, and I've moved like that. And I couldn't have moved those without you. Motivation. Sometimes we all lose motivation. You're there helping me list, and bam, I'm back to that motivation of getting. It's the clothes that I hate listing. But
so what I'm hearing is I'm your biggest support and your biggest challenge all at the same time.
You're a pain in my butt, yes.
Good. So that's what a brother's supposed to be. So, Abel, we've got to learn a lot about you today, and I don't want to keep you or your listeners, your watchers here on forever. Just to close up this way, what else do you want to share with us, maybe that I haven't asked you and you want your listeners to hear?
Well, the first thing is thank you for doing this. I know, I think this is a little bit out of your comfort zone, but I know you have the experience, so hopefully I'll have you on in the future. But this is a great way of getting my Instagram friends, and I think somebody says coworkers, and I really like that. So my other coworkers to kind of get to know me going forward. That is going to be some of the point of this YouTube channel, is to talk to other resellers. So if you would like to, or if you know of a reseller that would like to talk about their business, please send them information to me. You can find me at Abels_treasures on Instagram as well as Twitter. One of the main things I want to say is the difference between motivation and determination. Motivation will get you kind of going, but to kind of get to that finish line, you need to be determined. And the way I am determined is because of my children, and also because I want to give back somehow. To be able to give back is why I'm pushing to create this small business. And I really hope you guys go on the ride with me, because I promise you I'm going to grow. I'm going to do good things, and it's going to be a good time.
Well, Abel, thank you again. For everybody that has watched, please put a comment down below on what you enjoyed. Some maybe tips for me, Abel, as well. Maybe tips for me from interviewing. This is my first interview on YouTube, which is awesome. So with that, maybe I'll start my own channel and take all you guys with me, and we'll start interviewing people on the street like they do with Jay Leno. So with that, from Abel's Treasures, this is Antonio. We'll talk to you later.
Remember, connecting with people is the greatest treasure. Take care of each other.
Remember, the greatest treasure is your family. Remember, the greatest treasure is how much money's in your bank account. Remember that the greatest treasure is your mama.
You know I'm going to put that in.